You bloody right. I'm so very lovable. Whoa, Francois, you look a bit saucy. Hey, what? Hey, what? Yes, my bucket of soapy frogs. Excellent. Anyway, put Aunt Patty on, I think. I think that's probably... Hello, Francois. Nice to see you. Patty, the carnivore hippie.
I don't know what he's at.
I know.
He gets in my things all the time.
Yep. Ted's the same. I can't do a thing with him.
I have to keep him away from social media because it's not good.
No. Right, Aunt Patty, the carnival hippie. Very, very nice to have you in the house. I'm glad you've got the situation under control there. What's
constant work. But
I know.
Well, I am very grateful for you to have me on because I have some very exciting news. I've been flying under the radar for 4 or 5 months now because I've been working on a new project. I've been working with a self-publishing company, and I have written a book about my journey from just terrible gut health, and it made me think of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily a book about carnivore diet, but it is definitely does reference that because it's about my journey. And what I discovered was there was no fix for my IBS and my other gut complaints until the whole body fix is what it was. And there's so much information out there now that's about, just take this supplement or this probiotic or eat fermented foods or whatever. And there are downsides to every single one of those, as you know. And I don't know how many people know that I was almost vegan for about 15 years. And during that time, I just got sicker and sicker. And it was doing exactly the opposite of what the prevailing information was that actually, started me on the path to actual wholeness. And I'm so frustrated by the information that's going around that I just couldn't leave it. I just couldn't leave it. And so it's called Gut Health Revolution because I feel like it's revolutionary. It's telling people don't take supplements, don't take probiotics, don't take fermented foods because, fermented foods, you might have part of your gut trouble might be histamine. And you can have allergic reactions in your intestines. And if it's histamine, fermented foods are only going to make you worse. So that's where I'm at. So I wrote this book, and it's about what I've learned, and it's about my experience. And at the end of the book is I turned my experience into a protocol about how to gradually reduce carbohydrates and not well tolerated foods, how to do a sensible, slow-paced elimination diet, and go all the way carnivore if you want to, and success stories for people that I personally know and people that I've heard of, and also making the point that it's not about just what you eat, it's how you decide to live your life. So there is some limbic training in there, and there is, we talk about grounding. We talk about not just nutrition, but we talk about busting some of the myths of an animal-based diet, and also busting some of the very important myths of a plant-based diet, and why your plant-based diet, though you've been told is the answer, is probably what's, pardon my French, effing up your guts. Mm-hmm. And so this it's been very important to me. It's been a labor of love, and it's aimed at people. To be honest, there's a lot of people, although I would like you all to read it. I would love you all to read it. But it's aimed at people who don't know very much. It's aimed at people who are stuck in that cycle of do what the doctor says and get sicker, and then do what the doctor says again and then get sicker. And, eat this and take this pill, and then eat this and take this pill again, and then eat this and take this pill again, which is where I was. And it's intolerable, and it breaks my heart to see people stuck in there. So this is an attempt to make them aware that there is a way out. And I found it, and people that I know found it. And, wouldn't you love to feel better in your body and your mind than you did 20 years ago? And that's where I am. And it just makes me so happy that I have something to say.
Super, super awesome. So did you at all consider perhaps calling your book How Fucking Stupid Are You?
I did consider it, as a matter of fact. Okay. But Amazon has a thing about profanity in the titles.
I see.
Yes, unfortunately.
Right. Well, the instructions are that all Meat Militia soldiers are required to read the book according to the dictates of His Royal Eminence Field Marshal Lord Edward Yellow. And if you don't, then you will be a candidate for his bucket of soapy frogs and that wetsuit with the bottom cut out. And he will also bring his rampant wild beast.
In which case you'll likely see Francois.
He'll be swimming around with the other frogs in the bucket. Yes, he will.
So I will have a little bit of a promotion going on. The book is not, I was hoping that it would be in pre-order at this point, but we ran into a couple of snags with the cover. That happens. But I can say that is close to being resolved, and anybody who would like to email me at Carnivore Hippie 1962 at outlook.com with the message book. When it becomes available, I will send you a promotion code where you can buy the book on Amazon for $0 if you promise that you will review it and give me a good review. If you don't like it, feel free to email me and deride me by email, but please don't leave a bad review.
Can't say fairer than that. Sounds awesome. Sounds very awesome indeed. Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
All right. Excellent.
All of you, one last thing I want to say about that is I've had a lot of requests for a cookbook, and I'm very happy to do that. But cookbooks are expensive to publish, and anybody who wants a cookbook, do your part by ordering my book and leaving a review. And the faster y'all do that, the faster I'll have the income to make a cookbook. So that's where I'm hoping to head to next.
What part of cooking meat is difficult that you need a book to tell you how to do it?
Well, I have some recipes like a carnivore chocolate cake. And it only non-carnivore ingredients there are in it is chocolate, of course. You can't kind of have chocolate, but and sweetener. But there's no flour, no nuts, no anything like that. You'll have to go to my YouTube channel, Carnivore Hippie, on YouTube and see what's in it.
Yes, but, that's your other order, my Meat Militia soldiers. You must all go and subscribe to Carnivore Hippie on the YouTubes. Otherwise, you will get a late night visit from Yellow Ted, and he will bring his small guillotine.
Oh dear.
I know. You don't want that.
That sounds particularly unattractive if you're of the male persuasion.
Well, exactly. You were mentioning that there was a lack of nuts in your cake. Perhaps if you fail to subscribe to Carnivore Hippie, you might end up being a
there
carnivore
won't be a lack
cake.
of nuts anymore.
Yes, well, maybe Tim will throw them in the
I might have out his meat grinder.
Uh-oh. Okay, so that's enough analogy on various. I knew this was going to devolve quickly because that's how it is with you, Hippie. It's always that way, isn't it?
It is. It's exactly how it is.
Excellent. Well, that's the promotion out of the way. Let's go back to the beginning because a lot of people will be new to my channel. They won't have met you before. They won't have heard you before, except for your many and valuable inputs into the Saturday afternoon live streams that Tim and I do every week. So let's hear your story. As long as
I can be here, a lot of times I have to work, but yeah.
We don't accept excuses, frankly.
I know you don't. You don't. I've got a backlog of eraser clapping to do, I'm afraid.
Well, report to Ted after class, and we'll get that squared away. And I think the Master Chief will be there with you because he's been a bit tardy of late too. Anyway,
I noticed.
He does have a good excuse, by the way, but that's for another day.
So, where should I start with?
Oh, look at the beginning. I think. I think give us the whole story because why not?
The whole story. Well, I've told it often enough. Hopefully, I can keep it.
Give us the Reader's Digest.
The Reader's Digest version, yeah. So in about 10 years ago, I weighed 310 pounds. And I've just dipped below 170 just this past couple of weeks.
Nice. Good job.
So that makes 140 pounds total that I've lost. Yeah. I started off a women's size 26 in jeans, and I am now down to a size 12. And still going and still shrinking, apparently.
Nice.
And anyway, I had an interesting experience at the department store when I walked into the plus size department, because that's where I'm accustomed to shopping, because I'd seen something in there that I thought was attractive, and I walked in there and I started looking through these pairs of jeans that I liked, and I realized there was not one pair in there that would fit me. And I realized I could not shop in the plus sizes department anymore. I've been shopping in the plus size department since I was about 16. And wow. I swear to you, I almost passed out. I got dizzy and I had to lean against my grocery cart because I was so flabbergasted that I'm shopping in the regular women's department now, and it was a completely blew my mind. But anyway, 310 pounds about 10 years ago, and I was also suffering from what they call medication resistant depression, which it's all medication resistant if you really look into it, but that's beside the point. Mm-hmm. The medication doesn't do anything except mask the symptoms. So anyway, but the medication I could never tolerate, so I never took any. And I was also suffering from PTSD from various personal tragedies, which we don't need to go into here because that's just another long story. But anyway, I became desperate enough to just try anything. And I was considering gastric bypass surgery because I had insurance that would have covered it at the time. But when I started doing research into it, I realized that the kinds of things that they do, I just didn't want that done to my body. It just didn't seem wise. And so when I looked more into it, I figured out that all it is it's just a surgery. All it does is just make it easy for you to not eat. That's all it does. It changes. I mean, you don't eat, and of course that changes your hormonal balance and all. But anyway, so I decided I wasn't going to do that, and I thought, well, if all it does is allow you not to eat, I mean, I can white knuckle it and do it myself. And of course, I was ashamed, and I didn't tell anybody that I was just fasting because everybody was telling you back at that time, oh, you'll just destroy your metabolism and that weight will just come right back once you start eating again and you'll never get it off the second time. And well, none of that actually happened. But even then, I was still eating, loads of veggies and plant foods, and my mood and my depression, although I did lose some weight, I lost about 40 pounds doing that. And then it bottomed out, obviously, which we know it does. And I just got so depressed that I just decided I just really didn't want to live anymore, but I wasn't going to do myself in because I couldn't do that to my husband. So I just lived watching TV, sitting on the couch. I couldn't work. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't be too far away from the bathroom. The IBS was just crippling. And so I was watching TV and I saw a video by, I know, he's drunk his own Kool-Aid at this point, but I'll forever be grateful to him because I saw a video, a TED Talk by Dr. Peter Attia, and he was saying a bunch of stuff that I'd never heard before. And when I went down the Peter Attia rabbit hole, I found Dr. Berry. And through Dr. Berry, I found you and Pim. And in 2020, the winter of 2020.
I know, Ted, it's incredible. You get forgotten all the time, don't you?
I'm sorry, Ted.
Yeah, I think so.
I apologize. Well, I hadn't met Ted at that point.
No. Sorry.
Ted hadn't made an appearance. Anyway, so in 2020, with Pim's help, I was emboldened to try to go completely carnivore. And I determined to do it for 30 days. And I'd already gone low carb and I felt a lot better. But it was, I didn't think I could get a lot better. It was so much better compared to how I was before that I just couldn't imagine I'd get a whole lot better. But it was amazing. It was amazing. So I've stayed that way. I do eat a little bit of veg now and then because I like it.
Card.
I know. Pim says you're not entitled to collect those things.
Well, the thing is, neither Pim nor I are 100% carnivores, and neither one of us has ever claimed that we are, actually.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
What I like to say is I call myself a carnivore because everything that I need to eat for nutrition is animal-based.
Yes. It's
meat, eggs, dairy, fish, right? Yep. That's what I need for nutrition. And if I want something for interest, for just because I enjoy it, I'll eat a little bit of things, my favorite thing is an avocado that's not animal based. Anyway, avocado, a little bit of lettuce now and then, not the nasty stuff, no romaine, no green leaf, just a little iceberg or a little Boston lettuce because they're very, very, very gentle. But anyway, and a little tomato. I love some salsa on my bowl of ground beef for dinner. But anyway, it's life-changing. It's just renewing. Let me just give the people who don't know me a hint. I was completely paralyzed with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and IBS, and asthma. None of those things bother me anymore. None of them. I don't take any daily medications at all for anything. I'm 62 years old. I feel better than I did when I was 40. I work a part-time retail job, and I'm the oldest one there. And I keep up with the teenagers. And I've gotten to the point where I kind of like my retail job because it's only like 20 hours a week, but it keeps me strong. I can stand behind a cash register for a 4-hour shift and not need to sit down. I can throw freight. I can stock shelves. And I It's like getting paid to work out. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway,
perhaps you should come and be a farmer here half time.
I would love to. It would take a great deal of arranging to do that, though. Yeah, because I'm all the way over here in Tennessee. It's quite a long flight, quite expensive.
Yeah.
If I could, I would be on the plane tomorrow, though. But I have a very, very old, very, very, very old wiener dog who's blind and deaf and a little bit senile, and he's. I think before we do anything that life-changing, I think we're going to wait for him to pass over the Rainbow Bridge in comfort.
Fair play.
Before we do any of that. But yeah. So yeah, here I am. And I couldn't be happier with the outcome. And I want everybody else in the world to know that you may not need a carnivore diet. You might be able to get away with a whole foods diet. But the whole point is you can't escape chronic gut dysfunction just by changing your diet and adding supplements. You've got to do it whole body. You have to. That's the only way it works, because, as I go into in my book, your mental state and your physical activity and all the things that you do affect your microbiome, and then your microbiome affects everything else you do. And it is either a positive or a negative feedback loop. Yes. Invariably.
Yes.
There is no way to escape it. So I suffered and suffered until I found the secret was I just had to commit to getting better in every aspect that I could. And so I started grounding, and I started cutting out carbohydrates, and I had already pretty much cut out junk food by the time I started this, because, like I said, I was almost vegan, and I was aiming for that whole food, plant-based sort of thing, with using, like they say, using meat as a seasoning. It's like, so now it's.
When you were a vegan, you must have been able to bench press 415 pounds, because apparently that's what you can do when you're a vegan.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I did ever bench 415 pounds, it never did me any good.
No.
So I'm not going to worry about that. But awesome. I can lift a 30-pound carton over my head and put it on a shelf at work. And at 62, I think that's pretty damn good. Sure.
Let's go with that. Brilliant.
Yeah. So.
All right. Sounds really good. All of that. So the take-home messages for boys and girls of all ages, and also super intelligent shades of the colour yellow, however you identify. First of all, you must subscribe to Paddy's YouTube channel, which is it Carnivore Hippie or The Carnivore Hippie?
It's, you can find me either way. It's actually Carnivore. Oh, good. Now I can't remember the handle. They put some numbers on the end of it.
Oh, right. Okay.
875, I think. But if you just search Carnivore Hippie.
There you go.
HIPPIE.
Yeah,
you'll find me.
Yep. Good. Okay. Yeah, and also the book is called
Gut Health Revolution.
Gut Health Revolution. Not How Fucking Stupid Are You? It's called Gut Health Revolution.
Yeah, I know. I was heartbroken when I found out I wasn't going to be able to use that, actually. So, but anyway.
Good. And there is
go ahead.
I was going to say that's an Amazon pre-order soon. Yeah.
Like I said, send me an email to
email. Yes.
Carnivore Hippie 1962 at outlook.com with the word book. And I will send you a link for pre-order for a promotional period. Once it should be around Valentine's Day. Should be when it comes out, and I'll send you a link. You can buy it on Amazon for $0 during the promotional period, and I will send you a link to buy it for free. And all you have to do is promise to give me a 4 or 5 star review. And if you don't like it, you're allowed to email me and deride me by email if you like. Just don't leave a bad.
Excellent. Can't say fairer than that. Sounds brilliant. All right, Patty, thank you very much for your valuable time. One last thing I wanted to to talk about, and that is upcoming in May of this year. Wired for Healing, which is a wellness company founded by Scott Everson, the Carnivore Lion. Been working with him, and our 3rd annual Meatstock gathering will be happening in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I don't have the dates off the top of my head, but you can go to wiredforhealing.com, or you can just search on the internet for Meatstock 2025. And we have a star-studded lineup. We have, like I like to say, we're going to have the Kirkenspock of the carnivore community. Dr. Berry and Dr. Baker will both be there. And along with Dr. Kiltz and a whole bunch of other fun people. And I am the executive chef for Meatstock. And I and a bunch of other lovely people will be doing the meal plan for those who are staying for the retreat. There's a retreat and conference. The retreat, I believe, is sold out, but you can keep checking in because we do get cancellations. The little bird told me there may be some cancellations, so you can sign up for the retreat and stay for 4 days and 3 nights to socialize with the bigwigs. And for $295, you can have access to the weekend retreat, 2 days conference, the weekend conference, 2 days of learning and speakers. And as I said, those tickets are still available. And just you can go to Wired for Healing on the internet. It's Wired, the number 4 Healing, all in one word.com. Instagram is at Wired for Healing, and you can find all the information there, or just go to Meatstock, just search for Meatstock 2025, and you'll see all the wonderful people who are going to be there. And yours truly will be cooking. There you go. Will Francois be there?
Francois will be there. Excellent. I will make sure he comes.
Good. Yes. Ted came with me recently to an Adelaide conference that I was speaking at, and he got more manhandling than anybody.
I'm sure he enjoyed it.
He did. He told me all about it. He was the star of the show in his mind.
It probably did nothing for his ego.
No, he was completely uncontrollable the next day. I couldn't do a thing with him.
I know. I can imagine.
That's where it is. All right, Patty, once again, thank you very much for your very valuable time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So much.
All right, and thank you for sharing the news on your book and the Meatstock thing and all of that. And stay tuned, boys and girls, because I'm sure next week, just like every other fucking week, someone's going to be wrong on interwebs, aren't they?
Absolutely.
All right.
Terrible.
Good. See you then. Ciao for now.